Episode 228. Scott, we are back with off-season baseball. We're going to recap the start of the Arizona Fall League, review the projected arbitration numbers for ARB-eligible players, and begin our off-season trade talks. You're listening to the Bucko Banter podcast, brought to you by the Just Baseball Media Network. Cue the music.
Rockin' one-on-one, she compliment my taste. Whiskey in my lemonade, cause I like the way it tastes. Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates. Or the steak by the plate, sending case after case. Run my race at my pace, clear the grass of the snakes.
Adam, welcome back to another episode of Bucko Banter. We're back to our regular scheduled programming here on a Sunday evening. This will be out on Monday the 13th. Before we get into Pirates talk, I know we got some stuff to talk about. Arizona Fall League, early trade targets, ARB stuff. The playoffs have been pretty exciting. We've enjoyed watching some of those games. I'm really excited for the ALCS, Mariners versus Blue Jays. Shout out to the Marine Layer guys. And the Brewers are representing the NL Central in the NLCS.
It's been awesome to watch meaningful baseball. And I say that in the most respectful way possible. Like, I am glued in. Like, I'm not watching football. I'm not throwing on Thursday night games. It's baseball. And it just reminds me every year how electric playoff baseball is. Just from start to finish, man. And don't get me started on that last Mariners game that went 15 innings.
I fell asleep. I don't know how you guys stayed up for that.
Edge of your seat the entire time. Just unreal. I mean, it helps that I had $20 on the Mariners, but, you know, end of the day, it worked out, and I'm really excited for that Mariners Blue Jay series. I would like the Mariners in the grand scheme of things. I relate to their fans. I relate to the franchise, the suffering that they've gone through, the drought that has been the Seattle Mariners, but that Blue Jays offense is so good. 1 through 9, they just hit, man. The situational hitting, they put the ball in play. They play good defense. I think if the pitching holds up for them and the Mariners continue to, only put up like a couple runs a game, then it's going to be an uphill battle. I like the Blue Jays in this series.
Yeah, I do too. I think I like whoever's coming out of the AL. I really like the Blue Jays. I like the Mariners. Obviously, relate to the Mariners and love the Marine Layer guys. But I think those are two really fun teams, and I would like to see one of those guys win it. Obviously, out of the NL, anyone but the Dodgers. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but Dodgers. I mean, they have some guys that are very likable on their team. Obviously, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. How do you hate these guys?
Right.
But I just like to see someone different and talk about teams that are different. Mariners have never won a World Series, correct? The Brewers haven't either. Yeah. So would be cool to see someone different, especially someone like the Blue Jays too, or just a really, really fun team. But wanted to start off the episode talking about the current state of baseball because there has been a lot of really fun games to watch, like you said. But we've got Arizona Fall League. And that kicked off this week. It started on the 6th, actually. And we've had a few games for the Salt River Rafters. I do want to just make a note real quick before we go through our game recaps. Axiel Plaus was added to the roster late. All right, this is a guy that has a ton of pop, easy raw power, catcher in his system, has played some first base too. He actually played first base in the Arizona Fall League in his debut, but made it to Greensboro as a 19-year-old, and he's playing on the Scottsdale Scorpions. So I don't know. I was trying to figure out why he got placed on the Scorpions rather than the Rafters like the other Pirates prospects. That's how they divvy up these rosters. He was a late ad, so I don't know if it was just the Scorpions needed a catcher or an additional bat, and that's where they could put him. But just wanted to note that. So we're going to be looking at his Scorpion stats going forward as well.
Well, let's get into the recap. So I'll get us kicked off here on Tuesday. The Salt River Rafters played the Glendale Desert Dogs. They won 7-3 as Merlin Valdez hit cleanup and played right field. He went 1 for 3 with his first home run of the Arizona Fall League, 1 RBI, 2 walks, 1 K. The home run, 108 miles per hour, 425 feet, absolutely destroyed it. And then Derek Diamond went 1 inning, no hits, 1 run, no earn, 1 walk.
Yeah, looks like as Merlin picked up right where he left off. That's for sure. And It looks like that was the only luck that the Raptors would have this week. If I remember correctly, Adam, our AFL team last year was really sorry as well. So
Yeah.
it's picking up right where we left off. But Wednesday they played the Scottsdale Scorpions, lost 12-3. Josh Loshorn, friend of the pod, went 1 inning. He earned the loss. One and 1/3, actually. 3 hits, 1 earned run. Jaden Woods came in relief, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk. Will Taylor pinch hit, went 0 for 1. But Esmeralyn Valdez, second game in the AFL, batting fourth, playing right field. He's been batting cleanup for the team pretty consistently. 1 for 1, 2 runs scored. His second homer of the year went 414 feet. Already off to a really hot start in Arizona. 1 RBI, 3 walks, showing some patience at the plate. Oxiel Plaz was on the other side of the field. He hit 7th and played first base. Went 4 for 5, 4 hits, scored 1 run, 1 RBI. Good to see his bat getting going again soon after his season ended with the Greensboro Grasshoppers.
Thursday, they played the Mesa Solar Songs. They lost 10-9. Will Taylor was batting second and playing right field, went 0 for 4 with 2 walks, 3 Ks. Here's a guy that I'm looking forward to watching this fall, and that's Tony. Well, Will Taylor's one, right? But this next guy, Tony Blanco Jr. I mean, big body, hits the absolute crap out of the ball, right? I would like to see that next step. I know he's super young. He's only had time in low A. I really want to see, like, hey, is he just a career DH? Does he establish himself as like a first baseman that can be serviceable? He batted third on Thursday, played first base, 0 for 3 with 3 walks and 2 Ks. So just getting more looks, sharpening that eye at the plate and seeing if that power can develop to where it's not just like a 20 home run guy hitting 200, striking out 200 times a year, just being a little bit more polished. So really looking forward to watching his at-bats.
Yeah, I think he's a guy I'm looking forward to too, but I'm also expecting some some struggles early on, man. Like he's facing some of the toughest competition he's faced so far in his career. But I feel like we're going to see some big, impressive home runs from him. And Will Taylor too. This is a guy that I really want him to focus on making more contact. I think he's a guy that's going to generally settle for more power than contact, sell out a little bit. But the Ks have definitely been up a little bit this year, and this is a perfect opportunity for him to work on getting more bat to ball this fall. But let's go into Friday, Adam. This was actually the last game of the week because Saturday and Sunday were canceled due to inclement weather all across Arizona. They played the Peoria Javelinas, all right, and they lost 15-1. Derek Diamond threw 1 2/3, gave up 3 hits, 3 earned, 2 walks, 2 Ks. Jaden Woods came in through 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 Ks. This is a lefty that came out of the pen for Altoona all year, has some gas. Esmeralyn Valdez went 0 for 3 with 1 walk, and Will Taylor pinch hit, went 1 for 2. Played some left field, I believe, spelled Jack Hurley from the Diamondbacks. So this is not the best game for the Raptors Friday, but there's a lot to look forward to. I think seeing some Carlson Reed action, Dominic Parachi on the mound, Derek Diamond, and also just, proving that Esmeralyn Valdez's season wasn't a fluke because he's picked up where he left off, like I said before.
Yeah, it would be nice to have more bats coming up at the higher levels. So that'll recap the first week of the Arizona Fall League. Scott, we're going to talk early trades here. Okay. I know you got some notes on a guy that you've honed in on. Why don't you walk us through your first trade target of the offseason?
Yeah. Just to note real quick, I think we're going to be giving, a trade target to each, multiple episodes throughout the offseason as we look at other rosters and see what would fit best for the Pirates here. But the guy that I'm honing in on, maybe not the sexiest name, but has some pedigree, Josh Young from the Texas Rangers, third baseman. This is his first ARB year, 2026. He's projected to make around 2.4 mil, I believe, according to Spot Track. He's got 3 years of control. He's a free agent after 2028. But this is a guy that I could see the Rangers selling low on because the last 2 years, he's had some trouble staying on the field, if you will. His first season, 2023, looked pretty good. 266, 315 OBP, had a 782 OPS. That would have been the second best OPS on this team behind Spencer Horwitz this year. 23 homers. I think this is a guy that provides a little bit more offensive upside than a Cabrian Hayes, but I think the package may look kind of similar. I don't think you're going to have to give up a ton for Josh Young. I mean, I know he was a first-round pick, 8th overall in 2019 out of Texas Tech, but this is a guy who struggled to stay on the field, and the Rangers have to make a decision soon because, you know, he's entering his age 28th season, his first season of ARB eligibility, but they have a top prospect, Sebastian Walcott, coming up, nearing the majors. And it seems like a Josh Young trade might be easier to figure out than maybe trying to go sell on Corey Seager or a Marcus Semien. I think they'd probably want to keep those two guys to keep next to Walcott and mentor him. So I don't know. I think this is a guy that I look at that has 20 plus homer upside. We need more slug in this lineup. And I don't think you're going to have to give up the farm for him. And he's got 3 years of control. It's an interesting name to look at. The injury history obviously scares me, but again, due to his cost being not as high as maybe some other targets, intriguing name to look at this offseason.
Yeah, I really like that. I don't think it breaks the bank, and I think you're gambling on potential upside, but it's there. But like we've seen it at the major league level. I like that. Here's mine. I think I went in a little bit opposite direction. I do have one that would be like a blockbuster trade. I'll save that. Harry Ford for the Seattle Mariners. Okay, catcher for the Seattle Mariners. He's on their roster right now for the playoffs. He's blocked there in more ways than one. Obviously, you have the potential MVP behind the plate in Cal Raleigh, and then it looks like they're probably going to sign Josh Taylor at first base, keeping him in the offseason. If they don't, maybe there's an opportunity for him to play some first base. But this year in the minor leagues, he hit 283, 16 bombs with an 868 OPS. You know, I think Bart's, we're going to get into it in a little bit. I think Bart's going to be non-tendered. I don't think you could rely on Henry Davis right now. So who does that leave you with right now? Rafael Flores.
Andy Rodriguez,
which, if we're being real, I don't think we could put any eggs in the Andy Rodriguez basket at this point. It's just been injury after injury, especially for a catcher having those elbows. I don't know, man. I like this. Here's my problem. Maybe you could help me out with this. I don't know what a package for Harry Ford would look like and what Seattle would want in return for a guy that's on a major league roster right now and who's one of their high-end prospects.
Let me ask you this, and maybe this sounds outlandish because I don't think they need pitching. But what if we do a 1-for-1 Harry Ford for Termarr Johnson?
Do they need Termarr Johnson?
I mean, unless they are truly sold on Cole Young, who might move to shortstop, right? He played some second base, but is JP Crawford coming back?
They have Colt Emerson.
They've got Colt Emerson too. I mean, and again, and Termarr Johnson, is his defensive home figured out already? I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm trying to think of what Seattle would be targeting, and I don't think it's pitching. And that's an interesting 1-for-1 prospect. So what I like about Ford, that's a great name, by the way. Exceptional athlete, especially for a catcher, a really good catcher, but also just a really good runner too. You don't see that often with catchers. Usually their knees wear down. And he has the offensive upside that maybe a Henry Davis doesn't. So great name. And I think he's blocked by some guy in Seattle. I forget his name, but
Dumper, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll like Scott said, we'll recap trades every single week or potential trades that we like for the organization. Let's do this though. The ARB numbers came out this week for what guys could potentially earn at arbitration, right? There's a list. Dennis Santana, Johan Oviedo, Joey Bart, Justin Lawrence, Johan Ramirez, Colin Holderman, O'Neill Cruz, Dari Moreta, Jack Sawinski. Let's get started with the non-tender candidates real quick. Here's who my non-tender candidates are. Joey Bart, Colin Holderman, Johan Ramirez, Jack Sawinski.
So I had all of them except for Holderman. That's like the one guy that's I'm on the fence on because I don't know if they're going to want to try to – I don't know if you can move him. Is he movable? Like –
He's been bad.
He's been really bad.
Very, very bad. You can't pay a guy that has been
– I would non-tender him. I'm just trying to think about how the Pirates might attack this. So he was the guy I had on the fence, but I had those three: Bart, Ramirez, Sawinski. I think Bart is pretty obvious. I think Sawinski, I don't know how you can justify bringing him back. It's kind of like, I don't even want to compare it to Brian De La Cruz, because that's a guy that you brought back from, or that you got at the deadline last year. And I was kind of like out of pocket for the Pirates to do that. They usually don't do that. But Jack Sawinski's gotten a ton of runway here, 2 years of service time. I just don't see how you can justify paying him $1 million.
1.7
Yeah. I mean, like, why would you do that?
for a 147 batting average and a 534 OPS.
Yeah. And
strikes
average
out
defense.
a ton. Yeah, an average defense. He's just regressed in that field. So Holderman is projected 1.7. Again, I don't see how you could pay him 1.7 to come back. You could probably pay him. They're going to come in at a lot less. I don't think he has a good argument going into arbitration that he's worth anywhere close to $2 million after the past, year and a half.
Let's just use this as an example. You brought in a Justin Lawrence this year on a contract of $975K, who was incredible when healthy, right? In my mind, I don't know if he's going to be a back end guy, probably more of a middle relief guy, but would you rather give that? How can you justify paying Colin Holmgren 1.75 and Justin Lawrence around $1 million? Right. Like, to me, like they've already signed guys like Tim Meza for $1 million, Caleb Ferguson for a couple. Like, I just think the money could be spent elsewhere.
Yeah. And what is the most
it's not a lot
offseason? Yeah. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but when we're talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates, that's a decent chunk of change if we're like being real about it, right? Like, one of your, there's going to be that guy where they give a 1 year, $4 or $5 million contract to this year.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. History repeats itself every single year with this team. Let's talk about the guys who are worth it right now. Dennis Santana is projected to get $3.4 million. That's your closer. I think that's worth every single
I
penny.
think he files higher than that. I really do, because last year he filed higher, and we were like, all right, dude, this was like your first healthy year. But I think he files higher than that, and I think he gets 4.
Yeah, and still worth it.
Yeah.
For the production that he's had and the role that he stepped into after Bednar is gone, he's just been consistent. And then Johan Oviedo is projected to get $2 million.
I think
showed a lot of signs of promise. I think that's very fair. And then Dari Moreta, $800K. That's a given.
Yeah, he might even get a little bit more. I mean, he made $785 this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he files slightly higher than that too. So I think it. I like those. I like those numbers, and I think they're reasonable. I just want to note real quick, of the 4 guys that we mentioned as non-tender candidates, this team would roughly save around $4.5 million.
There you go. There's your 1 year contract.
There's Dennis Santana possibly.
Right. So not a lot of surprises on that list. The only other news going into the offseason has been, the Andrew McCutchen talks, whether it's worth bringing him back. I'm sure we're going to get into that in later episodes. If you listen to the pod, I think our opinion on that take, but we'll dive in a little bit deeper as the offseason goes on. You got the Mariners playing the Blue Jays tonight, Scott. And then you got the Brewers going to be facing the Dodgers, tomorrow?
Yes. Tomorrow both teams play, but tonight's just at 8 o'clock. It is Mariners Blue Jays. Bryce Miller versus Kevin Gausman. Should be a good one in Toronto. Before we go, did you mention Justin Lawrence and O'Neal Cruz?
We didn't.
O'Neal Cruz is
talk about it.
First year. Yeah, just not to change subjects real quick, but Justin Lawrence last year, 975. I think he gets somewhere around 1.25, slightly over $1 million. I don't think that's unreasonable, and I think that's a guy that I would bring back. O'Neal Cruz is an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
And here's a guy that, if we're going to debate who goes to an arbitration hearing, he might be a name that I see going to a hearing in February. $785K is what he made in 2025. I think the projections are around 3 to 3.3.
I have it at 3.6.
3.6?
Yeah.
I think Spot Track had him at 3.25. So that to me tells me right there that there might be a discrepancy between what's expected versus what actually happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that price point, you still bet on O'Neal Cruz.
Oh, 100%.
Like 100%. Yeah, like I don't. it shouldn't be too big of a debate, but the Pirates have a pretty good argument going into arbitration about how
They
poor
do.
his play was.
They do. But like you said, that's still like a cheap contract for a guy like Onel Cruz with his upside. Is there anyone else that you see that could potentially go to a hearing? I think, before you go and answer this, I will say that I think a nightmare scenario is Dennis Santana going to an arbitration hearing, because that's a guy that you probably should give your flowers to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He filed higher than what we all expected last year. We were like, okay, I don't think he was too surprised that that came down and he lost his case. But I would think that it would be very bad publicity for the Pirates unless he files an astronomical number, which is, he's got an agent working on that. That won't, he's got people working on that. It's not like it's only him deciding that. I think that would be a bad look for the Pirates.
I could see him filing at like 4 or 5.
I still think that's fair, but
I do think that's fair. And then maybe you settle it like around 4.
4, yeah. I don't think that's crazy. I think a guy that took over your closer reins and was like your best reliever outside of David Bednar all year, he earned his flowers. He showed that last year was not a fluke.
100%. Well, Scott, good ep. If you don't already, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend, go follow us on social media, share. That helps us out a ton. If you're listening, 5-star review, download the episodes so you know when they're coming out. Go to buckobanter.com to get all your merch. Some exciting things happening with the company. Got a lot of things in motion right now, so we're excited to announce those shortly. But until next time, raise it.
Raise it.
Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates, or the steak by the plates and